Trina, we're here along the Texas-Mexico border. If you can see behind me, far in the distance, is one of those tent cities we've been hearing so much about over the past few days.
Well, you know, I got to tell you, it comes in big, in bursts, in and out. Right now, it's starting to rain really hard. Manny, let's go ahead and walk this way.
Así es, solo faltan 5 semanas para que empiece la nueva temporada de huracanes. Y cuando hablamos sobre esto con los puertorriqueños, en ellos existe preocupación y temor.
We've landed, making it to the Abel Santa Maria Airport here in Santa Clara, and it's all part of JetBlue's first commercial flight from the U.S. to Cuba in over 50 years.
And Keith, one of the people answering that call for anyone with a boat to help is sitting right next to me, Stephen Connor, who's got his 8-foot inflatable. You're going around looking for people. Tell me what this has been like.
Well, it's been a lot of rain, of course. Just taking people to higher ground. They need assistance. Just helping them, helping my friends out.
Stephen, just riding through this neighborhood, and of course you live in this area, looking at cars submerged over here, water as high as 4 feet in some houses we're hearing. It feels more like we're on some kind of jungle cruise than going down a street. This is like rivers. Here's where 2 streets cross. It's hard to even know how deep the water is in some areas, and I saw you hop in and you were in chest-deep water at one point.
Yeah, it's been pretty deep. We're right along the White Oak Bayou, which the White Oak Bayou is directly behind us, probably about 1,000 yards. And at that point, it was flowing over the street, about 2.5 to 3 feet of water over the street, which at Bayou, if you look down on a normal day, it's a good 20, 30 feet down.
Right. This is just, of course, the National Weather Service calling this an unprecedented event.
Well, Jackie, the director was very candid, and he spoke at length with me about how difficult it was to respond to a tragedy like this, specifically because the identification process took so long since there were so many people trapped under that bridge. Perez also tells me first responders had to rely on the expertise of engineers to get to those victims as quickly as possible.
This one was different than most incidents.
Different because people were trapped under the collapsed bridge, and the heavy concrete prevented first responders from getting to the victims as fast as they wanted.
950 tons of weight on top of those victims, and it takes tedious work. It's excruciating work.
The Miami-Dade Police Department Director Juan Perez says they held a moment of silence and said a prayer for every person who was pulled out of the rubble because they felt emotionally connected to the tragedy.
We become also grieving individuals because we're trying our best to get to those people and we can't.
According to the director, the department is now conducting a death investigation that may or may not lead to criminal charges.
We want to make sure that there was no criminal intent to do anything wrong, and we don't feel there's going to be any, but you can't rule it out. Maybe this was done on purpose, but we don't see it going that way. More than likely, it's an accidental situation. But even if it's an accident, now we got to look and see if there's a negligence to the level that rises up to be criminal.
And the Miami-Dade Police Department is now in the evidence and collection phase of their investigation. NTSB and OSHA are also investigating and are expected to compile a report that the Miami-Dade Police Department will then also have to take a look at. Reporting live in Doral, I'm Laura Rodriguez, NBC 6 News.
Well, Kendall Regional is less than 3 miles away from University City Bridge, where that bridge collapsed. It's also the closest trauma center and received most of the victims. Late tonight, Florida Governor Rick Scott stopped by Kendall Regional Medical Center. He visited victims from today's bridge collapse and met with doctors who tended to them.
This is just such a senseless act, and you just can't imagine this happening to these individuals. I told them anything I can do to be helpful to them, I'll do it.
Surgeons treated 10 level 1 trauma patients.
One of the patients arrived in cardiac arrest. His heart was restarted and he went emergently to the operating room. He is currently in critical condition in the intensive care unit with head and chest injuries.
Another patient in critical condition arrived in a coma. The other 8 also had traumatic injuries but are stable.
There's a variety of injuries with 8 patients, everything from bruises and abrasions all the way to broken bones.
Doctors impressed. None of the survivors of the 950-ton bridge collapse have any brain injuries. Kendall Regional says this is the biggest mass casualty event they've worked, but it's something they prepared for.
We run mock drills on this to be ready when this situation occurs, like most trauma centers.
And the victims range in age from 20 to 50 years old. I did see some friends and family leaving the hospital tonight. I tried to see if they would talk, but understandably, they're not ready to do that yet. Reporting live tonight at Kendall Regional Hospital, Jamie Garola, NBC 6 News.
El ex pelotero de Grandes Ligas y músico Bernie Williams es uno de los famosos que este fin de semana viajó a Puerto Rico para ayudar en el rescate de una comunidad que quedó bajo agua debido a la marejada ciclónica durante el paso del huracán María.
Yo nací, me crié aquí, me hice pelotero aquí, me hice músico aquí también. Me llena de una gran satisfacción tener la oportunidad de echar un poquito un granito de arena en todo lo que hace falta aquí para mejorar el país.
Miren cómo una nueva generación de peloteros llegó al encuentro. Niños que perdieron sus casas y que tampoco contaban con un parque donde continuar con su rutina deportiva porque María arrasó con lo poco que tenían. Sin embargo, actores de Hollywood y presentadores de televisión se unieron al esfuerzo para reconstruir el parque y el centro comunitario.
Estoy bien emocionado porque este parque después del huracán María yo vine, lo vi, estaba destrozado, los focos se habían ido, los bleachers ahora mismo no estaban así, el cincel había ido, este estaba recostado. Pero ahora que lo veo así, estoy bien emocionado, estoy bien agradecido por las personas que ayudaron.
Es una manera de darle esperanza a los residentes de Loíza, uno de los municipios de Puerto Rico con el mayor número de refugiados durante el azote del ciclón. ¿Cómo habían sido las cosas para ustedes después del huracán María aquí en Piñones?
Mala. Pero, para adelante.
7 meses después del huracán, los puertorriqueños dan su mejor cara. Buscan la manera de mantener el buen ánimo para levantar al país, mientras miles siguen emigrando hacia Estados Unidos.
Mal tiempo, buena cara y unidos todo el tiempo y lo hizo a la orden, los turistas que vengan.
Bueno, después de todo esto, esta tarde vimos actores de Hollywood como por ejemplo Luis Guzmán y la presentadora de televisión que vino desde Nueva York, Bethany Frankel, ellos tomándose una piña colada con la gente de aquí de Loíza. Esta noche tengo para ustedes un reportaje porque también se aseguraron de rescatar bares y restaurantes que permanecieron cerrados durante 7 meses debido a las consecuencias de los estragos del huracán María. Los espero esta noche aquí en Telemundo 51. Por lo pronto, sigan disfrutando de esta hermosa vista desde Loíza, Puerto Rico. David Rodríguez, Telemundo 51.
They're some of the most sterile, most protected rooms inside the Miami-Dade Police Department. Even detectives have to submit a DNA swab to avoid contamination. Some who work inside the forensic biology section asked to have their identity protected because of the type of cases they work on.
One day you could be working on a serial killer, and the next day you could be working a robbery case.
We're here to support what the detectives do.
These criminalists examine biological material like blood and other bodily fluids to generate DNA profiles. The Combined DNA Index System, also known as CODIS, links crimes to criminals. DNA samples taken from people arrested of a felony and gathered at crime scenes are all entered into the CODIS system. It enables federal, state, and local forensic labs to exchange and compare profiles electronically.
It helps solve crimes that would have gone unsolved before.
This is one example of a tool that experts use to create a DNA profile from an oral swab. This information would then be input into CODIS and searched against the database.
The profile remains in CODIS and is searched daily, weekly, all the time.
If DNA samples match, that's known as a hit, pinpointing a potential suspect.
This case has no bonds.
A recent example of CODIS at work is the case of Joseph Cody Davis. Davis was arrested in 2018, accused of raping 3 different women in 1990. A warrant shows he was arrested this year in January on drug trafficking charges, meaning he would have had to submit a DNA sample in jail. In August, there was a hit in CODIS that police say linked his DNA profile to 3 sexual battery cases from 1990.
We've been granted a grant to go back and do research and determine the number of sexual battery cases that had not been worked.
Thanks to the grant and the hard work of the forensic biology section, the team has generated about 250 hits in CODIS on sexual battery cases alone. The CODIS administrator estimates the department gets about 600 hits per year on all crimes.
I'm happy that I can help take the criminals off the street by providing good work. And I mean, it's just not about catching them at the end, but you have to do good work in the lab. So when you go to court, they can't like undermine what you did.
Reporting in Doral, Laura Rodriguez, NBC 6 News.
Good evening, everyone. We landed in San Juan earlier this afternoon, and now we're in Old San Juan, where there's actually an art installation. I want to show you some of the images. It is called "A Picture is Worth More Than 1,000 Words," showing you the images of people and what they have been dealing with for the past year. And when we got here, we went straight to Yabucoa. It is a town in the southeastern part of the island where the storm first made landfall 1 year ago. And we found the man that we first met last year, just hours after he lost everything. Check this out. Ask people here in Puerto Rico, and they'll tell you the past year has been a battle of life and death. Maria is long gone, but 12 months later, its footprints are everywhere. People and places are making progress. Slowly. And I want to introduce you to one more person if I can. Like Peter Sanchez, who we met just hours after the Category 4 hurricane flattened his business in Yabucoa and left him with no connection to communicate to his kids on the mainland. He just wants to let Patricia know that he's okay. Yabucoa?
Yabucoa is in total destruction.
12 months later, we found him at his business in Yabucoa, rebuilt and booming. You see, he owned a body shop, so as he was trying to repair his own life, he was helping others do the same. I met you last year. You said, I just lost my business. I don't have power. I don't have anything.
Nothing. 11 months without power.
11 months without power. What do you do in that case?
1 month is okay. 3 months, wow. 6 months is hard, but 11 months without electricity.
And while more than 200,000 people left the island, he said that wasn't an option for him, despite living off a generator. He's back in business. But the rest of Yabucoa, which was ground zero for the Category 4 storm, some of it still tattered. Look at this baseball stadium, a local staple, now just a shell. A town that buried 271 people alone in the past year as a result of Maria. The storm robbed lives, businesses, property, homes. But ask around, and Puerto Ricans will tell you it didn't rob them of their spirit.
We're going to work hard, fixes everything.
And coming up, when you wake up with us in the morning show, we did ask people about the president's response and what he is saying about the death toll, 3,000 people. One of the most outspoken, the mayor of San Juan. You see her right here in this photo here. You will hear from her tomorrow morning, again, when you wake up with us in the morning there. And also from a man who Maria split his family. His son is now in Miami because of the storm. So that's coming up for you as well.
Usually our morning team is out and about with some cafecito, but tonight the night team is hopping into the NBC6 cafe van and taking it on the road for a special evening edition. Bundle up and join us for a night of churros and chocolate from 8 to 11 p.m. outside Finca Table and Tap.